What? I gotta look good for the camera. Come on. How's it going, everybody? It's Jared Wood here from the Cartoon Show, and as you can tell, it's just me today. And that's because I wanted to take a few minutes of your time and just, have a little bit of a talk about a story that I've talked to a few people from time to time, but since today is the actual 10th anniversary of Clarence, happy 10th anniversary to you, Clarence. I decided that now would be a good time to talk about that story a little bit and explain why Clarence is actually an important show for me. I've said this on a few occasions that Clarence is actually one of my favorite animated shows of all time. And I'm serious. I know some of you guys are going to be like, wait, you like Clarence? And I say that because when I was a huge fan of Clarence back in 2015 and all that stuff, I did get a few comments from a few people saying that like, Jared, you like Clarence? How dare you? So yeah, there were a good bit of haters, but I'm very happy to see that the show is now getting a cult following and starting to get like a bit of a cult classic status, and that honestly, that's great. But back in 2014, when the series actually first came out, I was more intrigued than anything. I was like, okay, but I'll watch the first episode, and I did. I think, to my knowledge, I think I did watch the first episode when it actually first came out and all that. And to me, it was okay and all that stuff. It was like, okay, all right. But the thing is, I didn't watch it every week because it was just meh to me at that time. So, and then we fast forward to 2015, and then like I forgot the name of it, but like a Clarence Summer Splash Marathon or something like that was going on the network, and I'm like, okay, I think I may need to give this show another go. And I did with a few more episodes because there were a few more episodes that were released at that time, and I had a blast watching them, and it ended up becoming something that I loved for years. But the reason why Clarence is important to me is because this is going to be kind of hard. I think it was 2016, if I'm correct. I think maybe 2016, right? Yeah, I think it was. But I was watching Clarence at my grandmother's house, and Detention played, and then that show and tell scene started playing. My grandmother started laughing, and I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? And then the more funny moments that happened throughout, she started laughing along with me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is great. My grandmother loves Clarence as much as I do. And then as time goes on, as a matter of fact, she actually started to talk and think about Clarence because every time I would come over to her house, she had Clarence in her mind. She was ready to laugh. It was a little bit tough for her because back in 2015, my uncle Charlie had a heart attack and he passed away. So she was not in a good state. She was pretty lonely and all that stuff. So I decided to do everything I could, to try and spend some good time with her. And I did, because every single time I would go there, I would just put on some Clarence for her, and her and I would just have a good laugh and all that stuff. And everything seemed to be all well and fine. And then we jumped to 2018, and the series is coming to an end one day shy of my 17th birthday, June 24th, 2018. You can just imagine the heartbreak that I had, because just one day shy of my birthday, that's a tough pill to swallow. But fortunately, I still had all the recordings of it on my DVR and everything, and yeah, that's how we watched it, the DVR. You guys even remember a DVR before streaming services kind of took over the whole entertainment industry as a whole? So, things are all well and fine, and her and I still have a good time with Clarence with all the reruns and stuff. And then we fast forward to 2019. And this is hard. We've noticed a bit of a problem, and things were starting to decline. And because my grandmother was in a pretty bad state, we decided to keep her in our house for a few months, and thankfully that brought me even closer to her. and she really needed it because she was going through a lot of health issues and all that stuff. So we had to do everything we could to protect her and all that stuff. And I can't remember how it exactly happened, but one day, I think it was like in July or something like that in 2019, um, I received word that I think it was either my mom or my dad saying that, Jared, you need to go spend some time with her one more time. And I'm like, uh oh. But fortunately, I did what it was asked, and she was not in a good state. But when she heard my voice, she immediately sprung back to life, and it was beautiful to see that she was feeling very happy still and all that stuff, and it was really, really miraculous to know that I was there to spend some time with her. And then the next day, sure enough, my grandmother passed away. It was a punch in the gut for me, and as you could tell by the possible tone of my voice, that it's still hard for me to think about, because it felt like I had such a close fan of Clarence in my heart, and when she passed away, it just felt like the magic was gone and everything. So you could tell that I was devastated and everything. So um, I had a few days where I spent some time with my family, and we were all mourning and everything. But fortunately, there was a lighter note in 2020 with the launch of HBO Max, and then because the HBO Max was launched, Clarence was there on the day of release. And I had a field day with that. And I was so, so happy to have Clarence back. And I'm like, Granny, this one's for you. And I had a great, great time streaming the show and all that stuff. And everything was going well. And then in 2022, with the launch of Warner Brothers Discovery, I know you guys are going to go like, oh my gosh, fire David Zaslav and all that stuff, and save HBO Max and all that crap. But guys, please don't attack or anything like that in the comments, please, because even though some shows were removed, including Victor and Valentino, I still had Clarence to stream. So Clarence wasn't affected until December of that year when it got removed. But it seemed to be by accident, because a couple weeks later, he came back. I'm like, oh, well, great. I can stream it again. Nice. Awesome. Woo. Bam. And then we moved to May 2023 with the launch of the new Max. What do you think happened after that? Deliberately removed. And I know it's going to sound kind of stupid, but I felt personally attacked by it, and because it felt like they were being so disrespectful to me, because I was watching that show and honoring my grandmother. And so when they removed it from Max, it was very, very saddening for me. But the thing is, this was before I started to admit the physical media was the way to go, because I've started to admit that now. But I still have the 2 DVDs of Clarence, and I actually have the complete series on digital via Apple TV, so thankfully I still have ways to stream it and watch it and all that, right? And then something interesting happened. Hulu on Disney Plus, and Clarence was added there. It completely shocked me, because I really don't know, and I still don't know how this is actually real, but long story short, this shirt is actually something I dedicate to the memory of my grandmother, Evelyn. And this is why the 10th anniversary of Clarence is special to me. There's a lot more that I can talk about, but in short, that's the reason. That's actually one of the reasons why that we're doing the faniversary because we're dedicating this whole anniversary to my grandmother. So, Evelyn, this faniversary is for you.